claim that they have campaigned to restore security, Nigeria economy, and the fight against corruption. And I'm telling you that this so-called three cardinal agenda of the President Muhammadu Buhari and the APC is a total failure. Absolute failure. You talk about insecurity, you talk about banditry, Boko Haram, insurgency. You say you have decimated them. As at last 2 weeks, Boko Haram is still bombing. We talk about the banditry in the northwest. We talk about the banditry along Abuja-Kaduna Express Road. These are aftermath of corrupt leadership. These are aftermath of joblessness. When you have majority of Nigerian youths that are not employed, when you have a system that has totally crippled, when you have a system failure where the social contract theory between the citizenry and the government has failed, what you will see is banditry, what you will see is criminality, what you will see is youth restiveness. And that is the aftermath of what we are seeing. So the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and his APC administration has fed Nigerians in this direction. You say you are fighting Boko Haram and you say you've dismantled Boko Haram, and every now and then Boko Haram still strikes. And the worst case of insecurity has now resurfaced. This is, we now call it banditry. You have called it several nomenclatures, to water down what is happening in the northeast and in the part of the northwest. Just before the election, you see what Fulani herdsmen were doing in Benue and some other middle, north central states. And maybe because of the election, a few months to the election, the whole incident, came to a minimum. And now, immediately after the election, we are beginning to see the Fulani herdsmen and you say farmers clash. Politically, you say Fulani herdsmen and farmers clash. You've seen that incident resurfacing gradually. So it's a system failure. And you talk about a president that campaigned to fight corruption. And you have the president himself is an embodiment of nepotism. The president himself is an embodiment of sectional leadership. It is worse more than corruption. So he is not only fighting corruption, he's an embodiment of corruption himself. A president that has programmed the heads of all the major security agencies of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, all the service chiefs, all the military and paramilitary agencies of the Federal Republic of Nigeria are from his north and from his religion, and he doesn't care about it, and he's very well satisfied with what is happening, the way he has designed it, from the chief of army staff to chief of naval staff to chief of air staff to Inspector General of Police. Another one go, another one replaces, to the Controller General of Custom, Controller General of Immigration, the head of Nigerian drug law enforcement agencies. All the paramilitary agencies are from a particular section of the country, contrary to the express provisions of the Federal Charter of Nigeria, provided for expressly in section 14, subsection 3 and 4 of the 1999 Constitution, and in paragraph 7 and 8 of part 1 of the third schedule. And even having an agency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Federal Character Commission, to ensure that the Federal Character Principle is observed in appointing service chiefs and heads of security agencies. And the President closed his eyes to these express provisions of the Constitution in making these appointments, and for more than 4 years, the appointments remains the same, and he's not bothered about it. That president, like President Muhammadu Buhari, is an embodiment of nepotism. Is much more than corruption. So he's not fighting any corruption. You have seen corrupt officials in his cabinet. What has happened to them? Baba Chalawa that was arraigned. Can you hear? Have we heard anything about the trial going on? The case file may even have been lost. The chairman of the Code of Conduct Tribunal, a charge was filed against him, because they want to use him to persecute President Buhari and APC's enemy. They left him to continue to preside over the Code of Conduct Tribunal. This is somebody, the judgment of the Court of Appeal has affirmed that he collected 10 million naira bribe from a custom officer. And he's still presiding over the Code of Conduct Tribunal. As I'm speaking to you now, he is still the chairman of Code of Conduct Tribunal, because probably he's a Fulani man. What manner of president, what manner of fight against corruption is that? The president himself is an embodiment of corruption, because he is an embodiment of nepotism. And everything he does reflects nepotism, reflects hatred for a section of the country. When you talk about a party that campaigns on the principles of fighting corruption, building the economy and insecurity, you still have that political party, as I'm talking to you, zoning the speakership and the Senate presidency to the northeast and the southwest. Whereas the southeast have members elect and senators elect in the forthcoming National Assembly, and APC does not bother about how the Southeast feel. APC does not care about the express provisions of Section 14, subsection 3 and 4 of the 1999 Constitution. APC does not bother about Section 224 of the 1999 Constitution that makes it compulsory and mandatory that every political party will observe the federal character of Nigeria. And APC, in its wisdom, believe that the feelings of the people of the Southeast, whether or not they are given sense of belonging in the government of the Federation, does not matter, provided the national leader of APC is satisfied and the president himself, who is an embodiment of nepotism, is satisfied. And you tell me they are fighting corruption. The government of President Muhammadu Buhari has succeeded in dividing Nigerians and Nigeria more than Nigeria ever was. As I'm talking to you, we are divided seriously along ethnic and religious lines, and that is a government that campaigned to fight corruption. Nepotism is worse than corruption. So they are not fighting any corruption, they are only persecuting their political enemy. Is it not the same APC that Oshomole told us that once you join APC, your sins are forgiven? That whatever you have stolen, and you can see it practically, all the former governors, all the former senators, who are even members of APC, former members of PDP, former members of AMPP, former members, the same recycled old political bourgeois, the same class of people, the same corrupt Nigerians that have kept this country in this ugly state of affairs. These are still the members of APC, and Oshomole justified it by saying, once you have joined APC, your sins are forgiven. And you say they are fighting corruption. They are not fighting corruption or anything. You talk about building the economy. As soon as they came in, Nigerians were buying fuel for 86 naira. Fuel became 145 naira. Since this present administration came in, we've been buying fuel for 145 naira. And now they want to increase it to 205 naira. The Minister of State Petroleum have just told us that the landing cost of fuel per litre is 205 naira. This same government that said they are fighting corruption told us that there was no subsidy, and yet they were paying subsidy. Under this same government that claimed to be fighting corruption, over 40-something billion naira contract was awarded. The popular Kachukwu Baro saga that led to the long epistle written by Kachukwu. That letter was being sold at major streets in Abuja, particularly at every traffic. People were selling it. The epistle that exposed billions of naira corruption, and that was buried because that is the president's own corruption. A government that is fighting corruption, and you have corruption by president and members of his cabinet, and you have corruption by opposition. That is two classes of corruption, two categories of corruption. We will fight this one, we will condone this one. That is what Senator Sani said, treating corruption with deodorant and treating corruption with shelters. And you say you are fighting corruption. What is the state of our economy? What is the state of our economy? Are there jobs? Are there new jobs? Are there new jobs from the private sector? The jobs we see from time to time are replacement from the civil service. Is that the way to build the economy? If you want to build a strong economy, it is private sector driven economy. So what has happened to the private sector? How many airlines has granted since the present administration came to power? How many new companies has established in Nigeria? So these are the statistics to show either whether the economy is growing under the administration or the economy is crumbling under the administration. It's not about one man called Lai Mohammed to be giving us statistics of how they have performed and how they have underperformed. These things are reality on the ground. You can see it. You can see poverty in the faces of Nigerians. You can see it every now and then. So in my own assessment, the so-called 3 cardinal points, the campaign, corruption, fight against corruption, economy, and insecurity, they have failed Nigerians. We are worse today than we were when they were not in power.